What's up guys, it's me, Visual Computes, and today we're back with another GPU review video. So guys, this is the nvidia GeForce GTX 1050 Ti. This was a pretty famous card back in the day, let's just say that. Because you see, this came from an era where you could get a 50 series Ti card for 140 bucks. I'm not kidding, the MSRP of this card is 140 bucks. And damn, these days in order to get just a 50 class card, it costs like freaking, let me just quickly look at 250 bucks MSRP. That is crazy. Not only that, but it's now like 260 bucks because of the shortage. Not only that, but the non-TI variant of this card costs like 110 bucks. That's insane, guys. 110 bucks. That literally, this card costs, well, not this specific card, this is the 1050 Ti, but the 1050 costs 1/3, like literally almost 1/3 the price, actually close to 1/2. Less than half the price of the modern 50 series card when it was brand new, okay? Like, damn, that is actually insane. Like, holy crap. Nvidia has raised the prices of these cards by an insane amount. But anyways, this right here was a budget champion, okay? It was known in its day for having some solid 1080p medium to high levels of performance. It could play every game that you threw at it. It's got 4 gigs of VRAM, full DirectX 12 support, 768 CUDA cores. Let me look at the TMU count and RP count really quickly. I'm back. It's got 48 TMUs and 32 ROPs. I just checked TechPower's website. And actually, this is, I'm pretty sure, actually one of the better versions of the variants of the card too. It's an Asus Phoenix version. It's got some decent I/O. I mean, look at that I/O right there. It's even got DVI, which means that it'll work with some old crappy monitor. Like this, for example, like this old Dell monitor. So yeah, this thing is pretty decent. Although for modern 2025 gaming, it's meh. Alright, like, I mean, it doesn't fully support ray tracing, so you can't launch all titles. It's only got 4 gigs of VRAM, but let's go ahead and keep the nitty-gritty stuff for later, alright? And the benchmarks, which actually I shouldn't say later, because they're going to happen just now, okay? But anyways, let's go and get on with the benchmarks of this legendary GTX 1050 Ti, shall we? Starting off, like always, in the deep end with BeamNG running at 1080p with the high settings selected. More intensive maps will increase the VRAM usage over the 4GB limit, so just set the textures to normal for those maps. At these settings, the 1050 Ti achieves an average of 68 FPS with 1% lows, hitting just above 50 being 51. These results were very usable and pretty darn good, especially for a game like BeamNG. Unfortunately, if you want to play in 1440p, you'd have to drop to normal or even low settings to get around 60 FPS. Overall, BeamNG is very playable on this 1050 Ti, which, let me remind you, is a 10-year-old $139 card. Crazy. Anyways, on to the next benchmark. Next up, we have a very intensive AAA game here, Cyberpunk 2077 running at 1080p with the not low settings, but rather the lowest settings, as the low preset leaves some things at medium like local shadows and anti-stropic filtering. The game looks worse than BeamNG and is running worse as well, which ain't great. Averages of 36 FPS with 1% lows down to 27 aren't great either. Luckily, the 4GB of VRAM wasn't the bottleneck. Instead, it was the GPU itself. You could enable FSR quality and see around 40 to 50 FPS, which is much better, but FSR looks kinda bad in this game. I mean, you can try it, I guess. Overall, it is still impressive to see a budget 2016 GPU running a high-end 2020 AAA title that's still receiving insane graphical features updates to this day. On to the next benchmark. Next up, we have Minecraft Java running at 13 chunks, as I forgot to change it to 16, with the fancy settings selected and the Celdar's extreme volumetric lighting shaders selected at 1080p. This isn't the greatest experience in the world, however, as sometimes we saw drops below 60 FPS, and by sometimes I mean most of the times, but it was still playable in my opinion. Averages of 55 FPS with 1% lows down to 46 mean that it is still decently playable. You could drop to the Celdar's extreme shaders or even just the higher medium shaders, because there's different tiers here. That's how you change the intensity of the shaders, and you could see above 60 FPS on average. Different seeds, scenery, or even mods may decrease performance or just affect it in general, but overall Minecraft Java, even with shaders, runs really well on this budget 2016 graphics card. On to the next benchmark. Next up, we have the most popular esports game in the world, Counter-Strike 2 running at 1080p with the low settings selected, and AX MSA to put even more load on the GPU. At these settings, which aren't easy to run, keep in mind, the GTX 1050 Ti achieves a solid average of 124 FPS with 1% lows hitting a still decent 92 FPS. The GTX 1050 Ti at these settings is just on the cusp of being not competitive, but it still offers a very solid experience. You could see even more FPS by dropping down to 2x MSA or just no MSA at all. You could also jump up to 1440p and see similar results without MSAA. Overall, Counter-Strike 2, aka CS2, runs really well on the GTX 1050 Ti. On to the next benchmark. This old 10-year-old budget GPU still kills it in esports titles. Next up, we have Doom Eternal, which is now 6 years old at this point, which is kind of crazy. I remember when it was released. Running at 1080p with the Ultra Nightmare settings and the low textures selected. And the game ran great. The 1050 Ti at these settings scored an average of 63 FPS, with 1% was down to 46. The VRAM was a limit at anything higher than low textures, which was disappointing. You could turn it down to medium and see an even better frame rate, and you could also just barely manage 1440p at low. Different areas may lead to a slight difference in FPS, but overall, Doom Eternal runs great on the GTX 1050 Ti. On to the next benchmark. Pretty impressive stuff here. GTA 5 Enhanced here, running at 1080p with the very high settings and the medium texture selected, and this game is running great. We did have to use the medium textures as this is only a 4GB card, and this is a modern remaster of a classic. The legacy version of this game could run at the straight up ultra settings and see around 80 FPS on average, but now with this remaster, we have to compromise with textures, and also a little bit with the lighting quality instead of ultra running at very high. The 1050 Ti achieved an average of 66 FPS with 1% lows hitting a very stable 50 FPS. More intensive areas like Jack's Hill will bring down the FPS to the low 50s and high 40s, but overall GTA 5 Enhanced is very playable and runs great on the GTX 1050 Ti. On to the next benchmark. Next up, with the modern esports game, this time we have Marvel Rivals running at 1080p with the performance mode, which is the lowest options in the game with FSR set to quality. At these settings, the game isn't running the best. Since this is an esports game, you want at least 60 FPS on average, and this GTX 1050 Ti will have to go down to performance mode upscaling or 720p in order to achieve that. At these not great settings, the GTX 1050 Ti achieves a meh average of 54 FPS with 1% lows down to 42. This game is based on UE5, meaning optimization is common with games like these. Like I said earlier, you could also drop to 720p with FSR quality mode still enabled, or 1080p with FSR performance to get an above 60 FPS average. Overall, the GTX 1050 Ti barely holds up in UE5 games like these, but barely passes. On to the second last benchmark. Next up, we have Fallout 4 here, which is an era-appropriate game running at 1080p with the Ultra settings selected, and this game is running great. At these settings, the GTX 1050 Ti pulls an average of 54 FPS with 1% lows hitting 30 FPS, as this game suffers from the Bethesda-ness, where the game likes to stutter when you bounce off the frame rate cap of 60 FPS, as shown in the footage. You could drop to 900p or 720p, or just keep the 1080p but drop to high settings to see a more stable locked 60 FPS, as it makes the game run much better. These stutters also occasionally happen in Skyrim SE as well, since that's also a Bethesda title from around the era. Overall, Fallout 4 runs pretty darn well on the GTX 1050 Ti. On to the next benchmark. Last up, we have a modern, somewhat demanding indie game here, Wreckfest, running at 1080p with the high settings selected, and the GTX 1050 Ti is definitely holding up. At these pretty demanding settings, the GTX 1050 Ti manages a very good average of 94 FPS with 1% lows down to 65 FPS. The game is running really smoothly and is perfectly usable for any online races. You could even jump up to Ultra if this had more VRAM, as the VRAM is the only thing that's holding us back here. More AI opponents will drop the FPS by a little, and different maps could also have an effect, but overall, Wreckfest runs like a dream on the GTX 1050 Ti. On to the conclusion. Alright guys, so in conclusion, how will does this GTX 1050 Ti hold up in 2026? Well, it'll play all those esports titles and indie games perfectly fine, but later esports games like Marvel Rivals, for example, that use UE5, yeah, you're definitely going to need some upscaling. And not only that, but for games like Arc Raiders or Stalker 2, you're going to be struggling majorly due to that pathetic 4 gigs of VRAM, and just the oldness that is the 1050 Ti. It only has 768 CUDA cores. For reference, my 5070 has 6,000, so yeah, it's got like almost 10 times the amount of CUDA cores. But anyways, yeah, for those non-ray traced AAAs, you're definitely going to need to use either upscaling or LSFG frame gen, which stands for lossless frame scaling, which I will put a link in the upper right hand corner, alright, for you guys to watch. But anyways, this GTX 1050 Ti, in my opinion, still holds up perfectly fine, and for, like I said, those indies and esports, well, indie games and esport games, you will definitely be fine with it. But anyways, guys, see you next video. This video was definitely interesting. But yeah, guys. Anyway, see you next video. Number 2, subscribe.